Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in to the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha review for Thursday, the 17th of September. We are starting to talk now about the laws of living in the sukkah. Yesterday we finished talking about how to build a sukkah, how to prepare it, what bracha, when to make or not to make the brachas. So let's talk a little bit about the halachas of living in the sukkah. Now, hopefully, we will have a shul. Our plan is to have a shul put up in the back of the sukkah. So if somebody needs to come and eat in a sukkah, there should be there. And they're also scattered around the city. Many of the shuls have them. Many people have them. So if you need help getting to a sukkah, maybe we can help. Just let us know in the office. Okay, it says in the Torah, in the book of Vayikra, Chumash Vayikra, it says, for 7 days you should dwell in Sukkot, which means you have to dwell in them. You actually have to live in them. This Torah teaches you should make the sukkah your home for 7 days, just like you live in your house all year round. So on Sukkot, that should be your principal residence. So you bring your fine china, you bring your nice tablecloths to set the table, you should eat, you should drink, you should study, spend your leisure, and sleep in the sukkah. Even conversation with friends should be held in the sukkah. And if you daven alone, which for better or worse is the case for many of us, going to be for Yom Tov and for Chol HaMoed also, we should daven in the sukkah. It's written, this is so that future generations will know that I, God, caused the Bnei Yisrael to live in Sukkot, in little booths, little huts, when I brought them out of Egypt. So we should keep in mind when we're spending our time in the sukkah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded us to live in the sukkah as a remembrance of going out of Egypt. Regarding the sukkahs that the Torah says, I caused them to live in sukkahs, there's a machlokes, little dispute amongst the Tanaim and the Mishnah, exactly what that means. So Rabbi Eliezer says that the protections, the sukkahs, the huts that the Torah is talking about is the anane hakavod, the clouds of glory with which our ancestors were surrounded, which shielded us from the heat, from the sun, and so on. Rabbi Kiva says, no, it means actual sukkahs. It says sukkahs, it means sukkahs. That when we were traveling through the desert, those were our temporary shelters as we went through the desert. Although we left Egypt in the month of Nisan, Chodesh Nisan, in the spring, of course, Hashem didn't command us to build the sukkah during that time because it's the beginning of summer. Everybody does it then. People build gazebos and huts and tents and all that outdoors in the shade, and it wouldn't be recognized as being built in order to fulfill the mitzvah of Hashem. So therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu commanded us to make sukkahs in the 7th month, which is the beginning of the rainy season, as we well know. That's the time when people usually pack up and move inside. So that's exactly the time when we do just the opposite. We head outside, even though the weather is not as hospitable as it is maybe earlier in the year. This makes it clear to all, not the least of which to ourselves, that we're going outside to live in our sukkahs, to eat in them, learn in them, daven in them, drink a cup of tea in them, because we are following the command of the King of all kings. That's the whole idea of sukkahs. Okay, so good to have both things in mind. If you think about the clouds of glory as well as the sukkahs that we built in the desert, both of those things you can keep in mind when you are sitting in your sukkah over the holiday. Now, today is the last day of blowing the shofar as is customary during Elul. We skip one day, Erev Rosh Hashanah, so tomorrow we're not going to blow the shofar. And we also are not blowing the shofar on the first day of Rosh Hashanah since it is Shabbat. So this is our shofar until Sunday. And again, if anybody needs help getting to a shofar, hearing a shofar blowing, check with us in the office. There's also numerous resources online to direct you to various places throughout the GTA, which are going to feature live in-person Torah services on Sunday afternoon. Okay? Have a good day. Shana Tova Umetuka. Thanks for joining in.